What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another episode of Self-Assured. And I was debating whether or not I wanted to do this for the YouTube channel or the podcast or for both, but I decided that it had to be for the YouTube channel for a couple of reasons. Number one, because I promised a video like this for the YouTube channel following the How I Travel and Stay on Track video. But also because I think that it is just so relevant to this journey of me becoming the most self-assured and confident version of myself. So this episode is really just going to be about how I feel like I have found my confidence for probably the first time in maybe my whole life. I'm not sure. And that's kind of really bold to say, but I feel like I've stepped into a season of my life lately that I have felt so calm and at peace and confident with who I am, and not without turbulence along the way and throughout, but I always come back to this and I always feel grounded in this. And I've gotten a lot of people lately in my life. Every time I go see people that I haven't seen in a while, and especially in the entrepreneurship and business and fitness space, the feedback that I've been getting from the people that mean the most to me has been that I have become very calm and what seems to be self-assured. And it's really interesting that that has started happening so quickly after I started this series and this journey and this pursuit of becoming self-assured, because I started it because I felt like I wasn't. And so I've been working on that a lot, and I've been reflecting on that a lot. And I want to share with you what have been the things that have led me to feeling my most confident lately, because I'm starting to get a better understanding and a handle as to what those things are. And I think that just processing them verbally will actually be really helpful for me. So I've broken it down to probably 4 things. Now that I think about it, 4 things, not 3. And so number 1 would be very, very simple. And I talk about this with fitness all the time, which would be following through on your word, following through on what you say you're going to do, following through on the little tiny things. Like, for example, right next to me, I have the Holy Bible, and I have a journal that I state my intentions for every single day and gratitude for every single day in. Whenever I let that slip a little bit, that's me not following through on my word, even though it takes 5 minutes, even though I'm only reading a tiny little bit each day. It really does add up and make a difference when we could instead be stacking wins throughout the day, right? So following through on your word is really, really important when it comes to building confidence, because something that I speak with a lot of women about is that they struggle with their confidence and they believe that the root of it is the way that their body looks in the mirror and how it feels. And that's not untrue, but the root underneath that is the fact that they're not following through with the things that they say that they want to do or that they will do with their health and their fitness, and they're just getting in their own way when it comes to staying consistent or even getting started with healthy habits like getting better sleep, eating better, all those kinds of things. And what that lack of follow through does is it erodes our ability to be confident. Regardless of the shape or size of our body, our confidence comes from our ability to follow through, because if it did come from our body, then we would have to all look the same in order for that to be true, or at least relatively similar. But everybody's body is super different, and yet there are plenty of people out there who are finding their confidence, and it's because of that follow through. At least that's my belief, that's my opinion. So that's number 1. I've gotten better at that. I'm not great yet, which is why this is a journey. I still feel like I let myself down from time to time. If you can't tell, I'm like finally all the way out of having a cold last week, and I still sound a little nasally, but last week I let all of that slip. I slept until like 9 a.m. every day, and that is an improvement. That is progress, because sleeping in before would have been 10 or 11, but I'm still working on it, becoming a more disciplined version of myself that can follow through consistently. Number 2 would be relative knowledge. So this video is also a little bit of a reflection on the last mentorship retreat that I went on. I promised that I would talk a little bit more about the business side and what's going on there with PCC and our journey as a company. And honestly, confidence, I also believe, comes from having a relative amount of knowledge compared to the people around you, having more answers. And so in the mentorship group that I'm in right now, I'm actually going to be speaking to that mentorship group and teaching that mentorship group about coaching clients, about how to be an amazing coach, how to set the standard for fitness coaching in the industry. And that is a huge honor. But it's kind of pointed out to me, and the need and the gap that I've started to see in the fitness industry and being connected to so many fitness business owners, is this gap between our intentions and what's actually happening with our clients. And it led me to really figuring out that I actually think that I know some things that other people don't. And it's like, it's hard to say that out loud because I don't want to sound like I'm going through the Dunning-Kruger effect again, where I think I know everything, because I definitely don't. I definitely don't know everything or really anything at all. But relatively, I may know more. And that is putting me in a position to be able to teach and to have more answers and to coach people through things, not only clients and my staff members, but other business owners. So that has been really cool. And I think that that has led me to having more confidence in myself and my craft and what we're doing, because people are taking value from the advice that I give, not only on a fitness side, but on a life and a business and a mentorship side, not like formally, but just like people will ask me questions and they'll be like, how do you do this with your business? How do you do this with your business? And I'm just like, this is everything that I know. Here you go, right? Business and leadership and that sort of a thing. It was actually kind of cool. I had a one-on-one with one of my fitness clients the other day, and she is also a business owner, or was a former business owner, an entrepreneur, but is stepping back into it. And we actually spent half of our call just talking about leadership and hiring and pay structure and things for having employees and how to incentivize them and speak with them in a motivating way. And it was just really cool. I just love talking about that stuff. But that's the second thing that I think has brought me some more confidence in my life lately, specifically this year, 2023. Number 3 would be, for what has led me to becoming a much more confident version of myself, would be learning to be okay with myself, even though I'm different. So we were having a lot of really good reflective conversations within our mentorship retreat a few weeks ago. And we were talking about different ways that we like to have fun, different ways that we like to enjoy ourselves. And one thing that I said was like, I think that I just have a different way of having fun. Like, a lot of times when people say, let's go have fun, the thing that we often jump to is like, let's go drink, let's go have alcohol, let's go crazy, right? And I hate that. I drink about 1 alcoholic beverage a year, if that. It's been getting less and less and less every single year. But I really, like, when I say I don't drink, like, I really mean that. It's not like, oh, I only drink at special occasions or on the weekends, like 1 a year maybe. And that has made me different. I've lived a completely, basically almost sober entirely with alcohol, but with drugs and with everything my whole life. That has just been what I've done. I haven't touched anything. And I don't know, I feel like that's something that I feel strongly about for myself, that I don't judge anyone else on. And I have tons of friends who love to party, love to drink, and all of that. But it's just not something that I really enjoy doing. And for a while, I carried a lot of like almost resentment towards myself around that, of like, well, you're different, you're never gonna have friends that truly love or accept you. But really, I just wasn't accepting myself, and I was kind of alienating myself in a way. But I really kind of learned to just accept that. And also, I learned to accept how I like to have fun. I like to have fun by playing sports and being competitive, and that's what my husband and I love doing with each other is we have a ping pong table. We're both athletes. We play volleyball. We just got into golf recently. And we just love to compete, and we love to do anything that has activity or competition tied to it. And I feel like that is a little bit different. I feel like some people really like to compete, but it's a smaller percentage of people than people who like to just have fun and not worry about it. But I like to put some stake in it. So really just learning how to be okay with myself, even though there are aspects about myself that may be different than most people. And I think that that's really important when it comes to me building confidence specifically, because I'm a business owner and I have a really big vision for my company. And I know that that's very different than the conventional way of thinking of having a job, having a 401k, working for someone and putting money in their pocket. I'm basically just paving my own path. And so for me to not be okay with myself, even though I'm different, it would really hurt me in the end. So I'm glad that that's been a part of it. I'm glad that that's just been what's happening. And then the last thing is a little unconventional, but I think it's honestly played one of the biggest roles in me being more confident in myself. And I honestly think that it's been getting married, being married. The reason why is because I think that ultimately I just had so much shit holding me back from that level of commitment and that level of just being faithful and giving into like, this is marriage, this is monogamy, we are just doing this together, we're committed for life. And I think it was the closing of that loop of like, there are now 0 other options. This is my choice. This is the life that I will live. This is how I will live my life for the rest of my life. That gave me a lot of peace, because like, whether or not it was the best decision, which I firmly believe that it was, but you could argue like, oh, there's always other people or whatever. Regardless of that, it was a decision that I feel firm and confident in, that I am going to, that I no longer have to think about. And that is one of life's biggest decisions, right? And so think about, I often talk about open and closed loops. And these are essentially things that are unfinished or finished business. An open loop is anything that you open up that you're like, I'm going to go do this thing. I'm going to start this diet. I'm going to read this book. I'm going to make this project, whatever. All of those are open loops. And if you think about all the open loops that you have in your life, you probably have a lot. And I have a lot. And you can have little open loops like whether or not you cleaned off the bathroom counter, or you can have big ones like, who are you going to marry? Are you going to get married? And so I think it was closing that loop and actually pushing a lot of my own self-limiting beliefs about marriage and beliefs about marriage in general aside, and choosing that firmly, that has created more confidence within myself, because it just alleviated a lot of mind clutter, emotional bandwidth, and I'm so much happier now. And it's been a great first year of marriage. I just truly believe that it's brought so much happiness and peace to my life. And so I think there's a part of us internally as humans that craves that sense of closure and security and stability. Or maybe it's just females that do, but I firmly believe that that was something within me that needed that. And I feel so much better for it. So those are the 4 things that I think have made me the most confident version of myself that I've been and am continuing to grow into. But I want to tie this in for you, the viewer on YouTube, for how you can become confident with your weight loss journey, with your fitness journey. Because ultimately, I think what all is underlying here is the fact that I have built up skills and knowledge and follow through and acceptance with a lot of things. And so that's where it really ties in, is with your fitness journey with weight loss. Ultimately, if you continue to follow through on your word, those small promises, little by little, you're building skills. You're building the skill of discipline. You're building the skill of resourcefulness. You're building the skill of continuing to get back up every time you fall down, and persistence, right? So you're building those skills, and those are things that you can't just get rid of. You can't just lose skills overnight. When you've built them, they're there. And so that is going to be able to stick with you for lasting change and lasting confidence that if you fall off track again, you have the skills that you need to get back on track, right? Because permanent progress and permanent change is not the absence of falling off track in the future, but it's just having the tools and knowledge and skills to be able to do that for the rest of your life. So you're building skills with following through for yourself. Number two, with building knowledge, you also just, you can forget things, but like once you know things, you know them, right? And so you might start your fitness journey with little to no knowledge about health or nutrition or exercising. But once you have done it and you've done it consistently for a long time, it's ingrained in you and you now have knowledge that has been built over time. Again, it's that confidence in the fact that you know what you're doing, where you didn't have that before. And then the last thing is just when you understand that being different is okay, how much that helps you in your weight loss journey, in your fitness journey, right? Because in our fitness journey, if we're trying to prioritize this, we're not going out and binge drinking 3 nights a week, right? We're not staying up super, super late. We're trying to take care of our sleep. We're making time for the gym. And that is very different than the majority of people that inhabit this country. So we have to be different to usually reach our goals to some extent. For some, a greater extent than others. But when we do that and we understand that being different is okay and we have acceptance for ourselves within that, then we're able to make much larger strides and longer strides. And then the last thing is, it was being married. And I think that with your health and fitness journey, it's great to have somebody who truly is with you for the rest of your life, loves you no matter what, and accepts you and supports you. And just having that person in your corner can be very, very beneficial. Sometimes your partner can be a little bit of an enabler. I know that I've been that way for my husband and he's been that way for me, where we'll be like, oh, you're sad, you want a cookie? I'll give you a cookie. But in all reality, if you communicate your goals effectively, that's really not going to be the case, and you'll be able to support each other and hold each other accountable. I would say that's the least related as a whole, but I wanted to tie it in somehow to your fitness journey. So yeah, that has been my journey of finding my confidence and just what I have taken away from the last retreat that I was on, and just the mentorship that I've gotten over the past couple of years has really just allowed me to get to this version of myself. And I'm definitely still growing and changing every single day, but this is just where I'm at. And I'm really grateful for the place that I'm at right now, just with myself, because I've just never felt this way before. And I wanted to share that. I wanted to share different attributes and things that have led to me feeling more confident, in the hopes that maybe it'll help you to focus better on the things that will help you build your confidence as well. So with all that being said, thanks for watching this series. Definitely stay tuned and subscribe for the next few episodes of the Self-Assured series and my fat loss phase and how all that progresses. But I appreciate you. Thanks for listening. See you back next week.